welcome to the channel and thank you for joining me on this journey as I almost single-handedly transformed this 2019 Mercedes Sprinter into a badass adventure wagon. My name is Aidan, this is Urban Ark Overland, let's go. This is where I'm up to, guys. Just a quick brief before I get down to business. The flares are in, the windows are in, the rear windows are in, the side windows after all the drama are in. They look absolutely lovely. Today I am insulating the ceiling or the roof space, followed by the panels. I'm going to wire up the lights, I'm going to wire up the TV. I want this ceiling finished, looking lovely, looking pretty, ready to go, ready to take it away with the walls. I'm going to show you the materials that I've used for the insulation. We're going to have a quick chat about that, how I feel about that, what I think about that, and then I'm going to show you the board that I'm putting up and the materials that I use to make it look kick-ass. Now then, insulation is a bit of a hot topic when it comes to converting vans. Some people don't do it at all. Some people do it within an inch of its life, including a vapor barrier membrane, and believe me, that's what I did on my first van. I see the condensation being a problem when you make the incorrect decisions. Now, Max fans, we all love them. Absolutely great bit of kit. What are they for? Just blowing cold air in, taking hot air out in the summer? No. You need that moist air that we breathe to dissipate. You need to get rid of that. Do not, on a cold evening, get in your van, shut the door, close the windows, turn the heat up, bed down. Worst thing you can do. You're missing one vital stage. You need to get rid of that air, that moist air that we breathe out. You need to get rid of it. I'm not saying even have your Max fan on. There is a setting on a Max fan where you can simply turn the dial physically and it opens the Max fan. That allows that air to dissipate. It gets rid of that moist air. It keeps that air fresh. Yes, it might cost you a bit more in fuel because you're actually, you're allowing that heat to escape. But with that heat, it pushes out that moist air. I've had 2 or 3 people sleeping in the van on a cold night. As long as you got that Max fan open, there was just about enough condensation to write our names on the windows. I'll take that. I'm not using a Karcher to suck off litres and litres of condensation off the windows. I think that's the way forward. Heat on, yes. Window open. It's going to cost you a bit more fuel. I understand that I am a weekend warrior, going away days, weekends, and potentially weeks at a time. And if you're living in your van, that might end up costing you a fair whack. But to eliminate that condensation, that's what you need to do. That's what I feel you need to do anyway. So I want to show you the insulation process that I'm using. You may disagree. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's got their own view. This is mine. I appreciate all of your reviews or your views, but please don't message me telling me I'm wrong and things like that. I'll be happy and I'll live with the consequences. This is what I feel at this stage is the best solution. I've used a THERMOLINER. So that is the real thick rubber backed with the silver foil. I've used that. That's 16mm. That is called like an extreme therm, I think it is. That's 16mm, and I've stuck that straight to the van. This bit's exposed. Obviously, this is the wall, but I've done the same with the ceiling. I've done such a good job of the wool that you can't see much of it. So everything, as much as I could get, including taking the headliner down and doing the van there, it's all been sound insulated with the Dodo mat followed by the 16mm extreme thermoliner, and then I've got some 50mm wool. The Dodo fleece is just the same, but this has been suggested to me and I absolutely love it. All I did was I took some of the rattle can trim fix adhesive from the carpet stuff, sprayed that onto the foil, sprayed it onto the back of the wool, stuck it up. Absolutely easy. I've just done this whole ceiling probably in less than an hour, and it's ready to take my ceiling panels. I think it'd be absolutely great. I think it'd be absolutely fine. Let me show you guys. I'm not saying I know all the technical, but with wool, I do know that it doesn't actually hold the moisture. So this is going to be absolutely great. It's a bit like the recycled bottled fleece. They're pretty much all one of the same. I probably wouldn't use the rock wool, the actual rock wool stuff from like your B&Qs or your builders merchants, because that can actually hold the moisture, unfortunately. I'd like to show you guys this before I hide them with the ceiling panels. Now, I did knock up my high locker, my high level locker, to know where the fixing points were going to be, and I've put some cross braces along here. I didn't do this in the black one, I'm going to admit to you. I've literally used a Craig screw and pre-drilled and put a nice decent screw into the frame of the van. Now these you can hang off them. They are absolutely solid, and that will give me a fixing to pump up through the unit wherever I choose that to be. Now you could run the risk of punching into these, but also what you don't know is when you punch up through, you could just go straight through there and you'll think that you've missed this rail, but in fact you've actually just missed where the solid metal is. So that way I know there and here, I know that I can't miss. So if you watched my last video on the van build, you might have heard that I mentioned I am using the EVOMOTION ceiling panels. They're absolutely great. Absolutely great. Saves you a massive amount of time. I'm covering them up anyway, so it was in an unfinished state. Now, the way I have finished the product is with a 6mm closed cell foam, followed by the tweed fabric. Now, what happens there is you end up being way too deep to use any of the standard like panel fixings. I looked everywhere. I could not find one long enough to go through that much material. So I come up with an ingenious answer. I riv nutted the holes that you would be fixing with your panel poppers. So they have now got a thread ready to receive an M6 bolt. And then I managed to find these little babies online. So this is actually a nylon bolt, plastic, M6, a dome head with a slotted fixing like that. So I would basically be with a flathead screwdriver screwing these up. That to me is just so much more of a physical fixing than a popper. I know you're gonna have the lockers holding things up by the time. That's what you got to bear in mind, is you put your ceiling up and it's totally bare. By the time you've got your lockers that go up and you're fixing a few things to it, it is held up in other places. But these, I just love the fact that that is a physical fixing, not relying just on friction, and totally removable. Totally removable. Absolutely great. I'm going to show you now basically a cross section of my ceiling system. So this installation, this wool installation, it is so easy. Now, quite luckily, the width of this is perfect for 2 or 3 of the distances between the rails, but sometimes they're not. Now, what's great about this is, unlike the thicker, horrible stuff, a nice pair of scissors and it cuts absolutely great. So, when you put a full width one in, and there's still like 150mm gap running down the whole thing, it is nothing to just cut along 150mm. Absolutely piece of cake. Piece of cake. But it's not cake. Don't eat it. So this is a perfect cross section of my ceiling setup. So you've got the ceiling board itself, followed by the 6mm closed cell foam, the fabric glued on top, and then a light pushed in. This is my whole ceiling setup. And then what will happen is these nylon bolts will basically just screw straight into the framework of the van itself. Absolutely great. Now the reason I made this was, first of all, I wanted to check that it adhered to each other nicely and that it wasn't going to start falling off. That's one of the reasons. I also needed to check how I was going to do these lights. If you see, this is obviously only rough. If you see, I've actually cut the foam larger than the width of the light so that this fixing of the light still claws onto the wood as opposed to the foam. If I kept it full thickness, this light wouldn't have anything to grip on whatsoever. So these lights are now actually inset. So cross-sectionally, you can't actually see them. And do you know what? They look absolutely beautiful. They look absolutely lovely. They look great. One of the other reasons for knocking up a bit of a dummy panel like that is to learn how the fabric reacts when you drill a hole through it, put a screw through it. So I've learned, that's why that's a bit rough, I've learned that you cannot use a hole saw after the fact. So if you've got any large holes to do, you need to make sure they're done first. Can't use a hole saw, it will literally pick up the fabric and just rip it off. But you can put a screw through it. You can put a screw through it any amount of times you like, and it does not, unlike carpet sometimes, the carpet can sometimes do the same. It can pick it up and just like spin it round and create a horrible little mess. You can put a screw through that to your heart's content. It does not, it kind of just pierces the fabric and then goes up and gives you a lovely fixing. That's why you use a dummy section, a bit like knowing what size pilot hole to use in steel, like when you're using metal. I always do that as a dummy, because what you don't want to do is drill a hole too big and the screw not do anything. As much as you can do out of place, drill a hole. If you want to check the correct size of a hole saw, use a offcut of timber, try your light, try your flue, whatever, try that out of place before you drill the wrong size hole. Wow, just wow. What a super productive day I have had. I'm not gonna lie, don't wanna, where are we? There we are. I'm not gonna put a big downer on working on your own on the driveway, because I love it, to be honest. But I find that sometimes I lay there at night and I think, right, I'm going to get this done, this done, this done tomorrow, and that'd be a good show. And for one reason or another, you don't always get it done. There's always complications, things don't quite go as they should have done. But today, I had it in my head that I wanted to get the ceiling up, and I wanted to get the lights wired, and I want to get them tested, and it's done. What a day, what a day. The system I've used with the nylon bolts worked an absolute treat. It was quite hard to get them lined up because you can't see where it's supposed to be, and obviously the panel can shift. As soon as you get one bolt in, the rest pretty much takes care of itself. I'll show you what you think. I also think I may change these strips. I carpeted them, or actually tweed fabric them for now, just because it only took me 40 seconds to do it. but I may actually change this for like an aluminium bar, because all of the corner profiles on the furniture is like the brushed aluminium, so I may change that for that and actually make a bit of a statement of them being like joiner strips rather than trying to hide them. But I think it looks absolutely lovely. So as I've kept the factory trunking here, you may be able to see what looks like, I don't think the camera will pick it up, what almost looks like an indentation. And what I did is I cut the foam short to follow this channel, because with that foam on, this wouldn't press up. So it's basically, it dips down to bare wood there with the fabric. And that's what I did with the same here with the foam, with the joiner strips. I actually finished, I put a straight edge across 25mm from the edge and sliced it off with a Stanley knife, and then put the tweed fabric on. So this, a bit like the lights, is actually almost flush, and I think that's why I want aluminium, to actually make it totally flush. It looks absolutely bob on. It looks absolutely fantastic. I've even wired up the TV to test that. Now, I don't know if you remember, but just before Christmas, I was the lucky winner of a Jackery, and I may do a video on that. And the reason I might do a video is because I'm not promoted to do a video, so if I don't like it, I'll tell you, because I wasn't given one. I won it, so there's no promotional tie or anything like that. But as far as building a van is concerned, they are actually golden, because what I've done, because I'm nowhere near having an electrical setup yet, so what I've done here temporarily is I've got my little fuse board that I will be using. I've got a cigarette lighter output, and I've basically, very temporary, just sat on the floor. If ever I want to power anything to make sure that I've got the wiring correct and the orientations correct and things like that, I'm literally just using this as a temporary power supply. Great for charging my little music speaker for while I'm working. Camera batteries, absolutely great from that point of view. This isn't a Jackery review, by the way, but I'm just showing you how I have temporarily got my supply to my lights to make sure everything's working. I've got the trim that goes around here. I'm actually going to spray that black because it comes as white, and all my bolt heads are black. My lights are actually black, so that'll just tie in with that looking lovely. Oh, it looks fantastic, and check this out. Yeah, boy. So I'd also like to mention, well, sorry if I keep standing in the doorway, by the way. That's the best way I can get light for you guys to see me. But when you're looking at my ceiling in its entirety, as it's bare shell at the moment, it might look like my lights are kind of like close to the center. You know, if you think about that as a layout, it looks a bit odd. What you've got to remember is there are going to be units coming up to here. So for example, my unit will probably come to there, and therefore they are then quite a lovely distance. Seeing them as it being almost like a bare shell with no furniture, you might question my layout, but I thought about it. They're equidistant apart, and yeah, I'm absolutely blown away. I don't know who this good looking fella is on the TV either, but you should subscribe to his channel, hit the like button, hit the bell, and leave a comment below if you like his videos also. So yeah, I'm gonna pack up now. We're gonna make a coffee, pack up. I'm going to link my Bluetooth speaker to the TV. This is a lovely little addition, the XTRONS TV, inspired by Andy's builds. I'm not gonna lie, he showed me that product and absolutely love it. It really works as well. Literally I tether it straight off my phone and it is easy peasy. no complicated syncing or anything like that. I'm just charging up my little Bluetooth speaker, and I'm going to link that to it so that it pumps a little bit better, because the speakers are a little bit tinny inside them. But apart from that, it is a very, very good job, well done. So pat on my own back. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe. This was quite a short one, just a ceiling, because I put something on Instagram and loads of people are asking about it. So here it is. Tweed fabric, 6mm closed cell foam, ply boards from EVOMOTION, and a plastic nylon bolt. I'm going to put the link to that down below, because I think that is a really, really good way of fastening these panels to the ceiling. Stay safe. See you next Tuesday.